Hey Trader, welcome back to another top tier interview. Today I am joined by both Rudy and Robert. They are a few of top tier's funded traders. And through this conversation, we're going to get to know them a little bit more as well as their journey with trading. So Rudy, Robert, thank you so much for joining us today.
So thank you, Brandy, for having us. We're both super excited.
Yeah. And if you guys couldn't tell, they're twins. So that's why we have on the screen. So Rudy, I want to start off with you. When it comes down to, I want to first and foremost just reveal one of the most significant payouts that you've received through top tier. Can you let us know what that number is?
Yeah, so the most significant one that I've gotten so far, I'm fairly new. I've only gotten one. It was right at 1,200, a little over 1,200. And when I withdrew it, I wanted to just put it in my bank account just to make it real. And whenever I did that, it was just such a big change for me whenever it finally hit my bank account and it was actually real. And it just, something in your mind just changes when it actually hits. So that was my most significant one, and I'm just excited to make more, of course.
Nice. And Robert?
Yeah, so unfortunately, it's kind of cool since we're both twins, we have different stories and people can learn from me and from Rudy. I did request for a payout about a month ago, which was about 2,000. Unfortunately, I did get denied the payout, and I went over the lot size limit rule that was in place at the time. But I wanted to go ahead, honestly, I wanted to do the interview just to be fully transparent as far as if someone else is in my position, they can learn from me as well, just to not give up. And at the end of the day, the way I looked at it was, yes, it sucked, unfortunately, but as long as you don't quit, I mean, it's going to pay off. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm working on a 200K phase one challenge right now.
Okay.
And then also a 100K account as well. So I'm just excited to fully get a payout and go from there.
Nice. Well, yeah, I think it's really incredible to have both of you on this interview ultimately, because at the end of the day, there are people who are in both of your shoes, right?
Mm-hmm.
People who have been able to get a payout through top tier, so they are able to kind of, they now recognize like, okay, this is real. And also I want to highlight the obstacles and sometimes the challenges that it takes to get to those payouts. So Robert, I'm really happy that you're on this call as well, ultimately, because I know there's people who are in both of your shoes. So I'd love to back it up just a little bit. I'd love to know a bit more about both of your guys' background and what you were doing before trading. What were you doing before trading?
You can go ahead, Rue.
Yeah, so we've always been very sales driven ever since we were growing up. So our first job that we were pretty much doing before, that was like our first like serious job, I guess you could say. We were working actually at a Volkswagen dealership, both of us. So we were selling cars. We did that for about 4 years. And then the hours there that you work pretty much what introduced us to trading is like a very, very active income. You do have to grind very hard and just work super hard in order to make money, which we were both very successful with that. It just after some time, you really start to learn like it's just so much time consuming. So once we got introduced to trading, we realized, okay, you can make just as much or way more, and you have your time back, you get your freedom back. And that's really what we were always like growing up. We always just wanted to be free and kind of work that kind of 6 and 9 to 5 and just enjoy our freedom. So that's what we were doing before. And then once we got introduced to trading, we kind of just went full force at trading and just do it every day now. Yeah.
And what was your first exposure to the markets?
The very first time was actually back in March of this year, of 2023. So I'm fairly new. I saw that we do know Jamal, like I mentioned earlier, and I always saw that he was always trading for the years that we've known him, and I was always like on his Instagram story, and I was interested in what he was doing, but I wasn't really fully into it. Mm-hmm. And then Robert, he actually was trading for I think about like a year before I did, and he was doing options trading. And then so seeing Jamal's like Instagram stories and what he was doing, and then Robert also trading, I just kind of put them two together, and that's how I started trading myself.
Okay, nice. And then Robert, for you, how long did it take for you to become profitable after finding your strategy?
So when I started doing options, I got into it at the start of COVID.
Okay.
I was just kind of learning everything, not really, buying or selling anything or doing any options at all, just really trying to learn everything about it. And then I would say it took me maybe about 5, 6 months when I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go for it. Let's just see what happens. And I would mainly trade. I would just take Apple calls and puts, and that's all I would do. And it probably took me not too long. I was actually really lucky. I didn't have to learn the hard way as far as taking a big loss and making sure my strategy is perfect or anything like that before I did. But I would say I was averaging maybe 500 to 1,000 about a week. Sometimes
Okay.
more, sometimes less, of course. But what I really wanted to do was we have also another buddy of ours who trades the Forex market. He usually trades gold, US 30, and NAS. He was telling me how he trades that, and it definitely piqued my interest. And then, as well, of course, we know Jamal. So
Mhm.
that piqued my interest as well. So I wanted to withdraw everything I had out of options trading, which was about, or at the time, it was about 15,000, 16,000.
Okay.
And I just put all that into a bank account. And then I wanted to, obviously, now we're both doing the Forex market. So trying to, again, like I said, pass the challenge
Mm.
and get the payouts. But it took me about, I would say, 4 or 5 months to really become profitable. Um,
Okay.
yeah,
That's
but it was
great.
crazy. I didn't have a set strategy the way I do now. I definitely know more now than I did back then. I was a little
Mm.
bit more reckless, but again, like I said, I was very lucky. I didn't have to learn the hard way. I just watched other people's mistakes and going online
Mm.
and learning from them, so I didn't have to take that big hit. So that's when I made the move over to the
And
Forex.
how has your trading strategy, I guess, evolved since you first began?
So when I first started, the only thing I ever looked at was just price action and
Okay.
then RSI for when I was doing Apple calls and puts. Now it's definitely a little bit more simplified when I look at gold or US 30. Me and Rudy, we simply just trade on higher time frames and we use support and resistance. And
Okay.
then if we were to look at any indicators, sometimes we'll use a EMA, sometimes we'll do RSI. Um, but again, really our strategy right now, and it's been doing pretty well for us, is we just use support and resistance on higher time frames, and we just wait for breakouts, obviously either for buys or sells, depending on the time. And we try to trade as well when there's a lot of volatility in the markets, of course. So we like to trade early New York session, and then of course when there's news, we like to trade then as well. So,
And what do you trade? What instruments do you trade?
so I trade gold, US 30. Those are the main two, and then sometimes I'll look at NAS 100 as well. But the main two right now are gold and US 30.
Okay. And Rudy, are you the same?
Yep, same thing. Trade gold. I would say about 90% of my trades are US 30. And I've been diving into gold now. So now it's kind of like 50, probably like 50-50 US 30 and gold is the two main that I stick with. Sometimes I'll trade currencies, but mostly I just stick with gold and US 30.
Okay. Nice. And then do you guys trade together? Like in terms of like you guys both wake up for the session and you're both trading side by side, or how did that work?
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Well,
we're pretty much in our rooms, and I mean, we'll yell to each other and stuff like that, like "Hey, I'm in," or "Hey, I got stopped," or whatnot. But yeah, no, for the most part, we'll both pretty much trade, I guess, together. We're not like taking the exact same trade every single time, the exact same entry, but
Hmm.
we're definitely always trading together and bouncing ideas off each other and things like that.
Okay, nice. Do you feel like having an individual who is kind of undergoing the same things as you're undergoing? Like trading is a bit isolating and it's difficult. And you have, of course, the technical analysis side of things and like the more technical things, but then there's also a huge part of it that's psychology driven.
Mhm.
Do you find that it's beneficial to have kind of like a trading partner, someone that is understands exactly what it is you're going through?
Yeah, 100% for me. I was always growing up, I'm usually like a quiet person. If I'm going to do something, I'll do it by myself. I don't really like reach out to others and talk about what I'm doing. And I tried doing that with trading at the start. I would never tell anybody about my wins and losses, nothing. But then
Mm,
the more and more I started talking to, like, let's say, Robert, other friends that do it, or join the communities of traders as well, you just, it's just so nice to know that there's other people that are also experiencing losses with you and wins with you, and just they know what you're talking about. They know, like sometimes when you talk to somebody about trading that doesn't trade, they just don't quite get it. And sometimes you can feel really like I don't know, it just feels weird when you're trying to tell someone about trading and they don't get it. But then
yeah.
when you talk to somebody that does, it's just so refreshing. And it definitely helps with your psychology 100%. I think if somebody wants to be successful in trading, yeah, definitely find somebody that is also doing it. Get with a community, join like the top tier Discord or something, and just find other people that are also doing it, and it will help you no matter what. It'll help you.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. How do you both, I'm interested to know both of your answers for this. How do you manage the psychological aspects of trading, especially during um, volatile times?
Yeah. So for me, the way and I used to be terrible with it. I would always just place when I first started, I was probably taking maybe like 15, 20 trades a day in like an hour and just trying to scalp. And it was so bad on my mental, but really working with, and just a massive shout out to Jamal. He has helped us so much and I'm so grateful for it. But there are just so many times where I would tell him about a trade that I took and how I lost, and he would just he would never be like, "Oh, you should have done this," and like be like super nice about it. He was always just like very firm as far as like,
Mhm.
"No, this is what you did wrong. This is what you got to do. Always have a set stop loss. Always have a set take profit." And pretty much the word track that he said to me that really helped me was just trade like a robot. Pretend like a robot is sitting here trading. What would a robot do? So I was
Mhm.
like, yeah, that makes so much sense. So for me, what helped with my psychology is learning to trade like a robot, setting a stop loss, and the trade will have either three outcomes: stop loss, take profit, or break even. Sometimes I'll set my stop loss to break even, and that's
Mhm.
it. Don't touch it after that.
Yeah. Would you say, Rudy, when you were first getting started, because you haven't been trading even for full
Yeah.
yet.
Yep.
So you were initially getting started, were you most there's like a few categories that most traders fall in when it comes into like psychological challenges. Have it be fear, have it be greed, have it be overconfidence, lack of confidence, fear of missing out. Which one of those did you was like the biggest challenge for you?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have felt all of those for sure. But the biggest one is for me, it would be greed, I think. Anytime I was ever up in a position, I would always just want to try to get a little more out of that position. And instead of just securing my profits when it hit my take profit, or I know that I'm up, instead of just taking, I would just let it sit. And then it would come back and reverse on me. And then I would end up either break even or even sometimes losing the trade. So
Mhm.
that was the biggest thing for me. I've started to just, whenever I'm up, whenever it hits my take profit, now it just hits it. I don't do anything else now. That was definitely the biggest fear for me was greed. But I do think greed can be good sometimes because you can push yourself to that next level when you are greedy. You just have to be aware of what you're doing for sure. But for me, it was definitely greed.
Okay, okay, nice. And then Robert, for you, how do you manage the psychological aspects of trading?
So that's one thing I mean, I still work on that every day, of
Yeah.
course, but the biggest thing for me is definitely listening to what other people say and how they react to it as well. Because at the end of the day, you have to be stoic in this field, I think, to be successful. This is a very emotional game, and I've been there. I'm sure everyone's been there when you're mad and you want to revenge trade, and get into another position, it just kills you. It kills your
Hmm.
mental, it kills your profits, it kills everything. So what
Hmm.
I've been working on a lot is having a set time to trade, like the early New York session, and then
Okay.
only taking trades if I am sticking to my strategy. That's helped a lot. And then as far as I've dealt with greed, I've dealt with fear and tilt, everything. I do, like Rudy said, I do think greed is a good thing as well, as long as you are aware and you're careful of course, blowing everything. But I think but people that think are bad things in a way, like greed or putting pressure on yourself, I think those things are what could elevate you to that next level. Like all the videos, I'm sure everyone's seen it, but like Q Bank says, pressure. He says have
Mhm.
positive pressure and add that to your arsenal. And I love when he says that. Um, and that's kind of how I look at it. And then
Okay.
another weird way that what I think about all the time to kind of go off the track. I don't know if you've seen the movie Moneyball. Have you seen that movie with Brad Pitt?
No, oh wait. No, I don't think I have. But
Yeah.
I don't think I have.
Yeah, so it's a baseball movie, and I've taken what that movie is into trading. So Brad Pitt, he's a new general manager in the
Hmm.
team, and the team that he has when he first starts managing the team is a bunch of all stars. They're going for home runs all the time. They look great. They look flashy, but he completely reverses the team, and he only gets players in that get on base. So I think taking that into consideration into trading, just take your base hits instead of going for home runs. I think that
Mm.
will elevate your game a lot because I've gone for home runs and I've tried to go for home runs, and at the end of the day, sometimes it just reverses on you so fast, and then that's when your other emotions come in, as far as fear, as far as tilt, as far as greed, revenge trading. So I
Hmm.
think for any new trader, and this will go for myself as well, of course, taking base hits will those profits add up. Just little base hits every day, and they'll add up.
Absolutely. It's a consistency.
Absolutely.
One of the things that I always remember and that I have a bit of affirmations before I actually start my trading day. And one of that is just like a reminder just to take what the market gives me,
Hmm.
right? Like not to lean or to succumb to always wanting more. Because to your point, at the end of the day, that can also be a great thing if you have a level of self-awareness around
Hmm.
why you're doing that. And if it's, in alignment with your analysis and it makes sense for you to take a little bit more or to try, then of course. But just taking what the market gives you, some days it'll be, you know, a great day. Some days it'll be a good day. And some days you won't take trades at all. And some days you'll lose money. And that's just the nature of the game.
Absolutely. Yep.
I'm interested to know like if you're sitting down to trade New York Open or the New York New York Open,
Mhm.
what are you looking at and what's an A plus setup in your book?
So for me, as soon as I sit down, what I'll do, first thing I'll do, I'll do like a top down analysis. I'll start right at the monthly, then I'll jump down on the weekly, so on and so forth. I'll really mark my main like support and resistance lines on the 4 hour, 1 hour, 30 minute. Pretty much just try to stick to like the 30 minute, 1 hour, and then I'll just put my ranges, my support, my resistance. And then I'll also look to see if price will break out of either of those. So let's say it was breaking out of a support. And once I do that, once I see that it breaks out, I'll obviously wait for a candle closure. Once it closes on that candle, then I will wait for my entry. I'll drop down to like a lower time frame, whether it be like a 5 minute or a 1 minute time frame. And then that's where I'll find my entries and just try to get that perfect entry. And then that's pretty much it. And I just do that every single morning. I do like what you said earlier, how you have like a routine when you wake up or when you're getting on the charts. Yeah, I have just a set routine, just do the same thing every single day, and it's been working for me this thus far. So
Okay, nice. And Robert, are you about the same?
Yeah, we have a very similar strategy, and our entries usually come during volatile times. So when there is volume, so market open or when there's news,
Mm-hmm.
We won't trade news exactly as soon as it opens, but we'll wait, a minute, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, whatever it may be, and that's when we'll get into a trade. But we have a very, very similar strategy.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
What role does risk management play in your personal trading success?
Yeah, for me, it's a big role. When I first started out, I never really cared about risk management, and that's where my emotions would get the best of me. But now that I've realized how important risk management is, such as like setting a stop loss, not over leveraging, it it has calmed me down so much more. And I just know what I'm risking or what I'm willing to risk instead of just trying to over leverage my account and then hoping that it hits. Yeah, um, risk management has helped me tenfold, and it just keeps me calm. I think the thing that I hate the most when I'm in a trade, I hate feeling nervous. I just love the calm feeling of like this is nothing. And when I do utilize risk management, that's the feeling that I have. I'm just like, okay, this is nothing. It's just a trade. So when I
Mm-hmm.
do that, that is the feeling that I like, and I just try to replicate that every single time.
Nice. Same for you, Robert.
Yeah, absolutely. On that, I go back to again, Moneyball.
Mm-hmm.
Just go for your base hits, and they do add up. So if you're on a 100K account, 200K, 300K, even if you're on a 5K or 10 account, your strategy stays the same if you're
Mm-hmm.
following it the way you're supposed to and you're following your rules. The strategy stays the same. The numbers, they're just getting bigger or smaller. That's it. But if you follow your strategy, then I don't think it would be, as far as risk management, as long as you stick to that, I think you'll be fine. So again, just the base hits. I find myself a lot if I don't follow my rules to a T. I'm in a trade and I'll be like, I should take this. I should take this trade. I'm not following my rules, and then I don't take it, and then I end up with a loss.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the biggest thing for me is just base hits, 1-2% every day. It adds up, especially on the bigger accounts. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. How has being part of either the top tier community or leveraging pot firms in general, how's that influenced your approach or I guess mindset even towards trading?
Yeah, for me, using top tier as the prop firm and just prop firms in general, it's really, especially just starting out. Obviously, I don't have 200-300K capital to just start trading when I'm so new. So using the prop firms, it really has helped me just enjoy trading a lot more because I could trade with money from my bank account just starting out. But just the risk on that, I think starting out for me would be a little too much for me. So using a prop firm has definitely helped me. And I think using a prop firm as well, going back to what I said earlier, helps with being a part of a community and having other people that do the same thing. And
Mhm.
that has helped me a lot more instead of just opening up an account at a brokerage and using my money and just never being part of the prop firm industries. I think being part of the prop firm industry has helped me in that regard.
And then Robert, I know you have experience in trading your own capital and live capital. How is that? How is your trading? Yeah, how's being a part of a prop firm and trying to pass challenges? How has that influenced your trading from your experience by you just trading your live accounts in the
Yeah,
beginning?
both definitely have their challenges.
Mm-hmm.
With prop firms, I do see uh, that it's in a way more safer, as far as if you're not risking, your real money. Of course, at the end of the day, that should be the end goal is your own capital. Um, but I like prop firms because what Rudy said, I don't have 100, 200, 300K to trade with. So I like to trade on those higher accounts. So when I do get a payout, I can use that for my own capital. But as far as the way they're different, it's just the emotion is different. It's a little bit different when it's your own real money versus a 50K account or 100K account, which is still, I mean, even when I'm doing these 100K, 200Ks accounts, it's still, the emotions there, of course. But I would say the biggest difference is the emotion. Again, the strategy should be the same. So it's just you got to work on the psychology of it.
Totally,
Yeah.
totally. Rudy, you just recently got a $1,200 payout, which is really, really, really exciting. And I mean, at the end of the day, no matter if it's a $5 payout or a $500,000 payout, I think they're both worthy of celebrating and giving you your flowers because
Thank you.
um, again, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much money it is. It's a matter of being able to test your skill set, put your psychology to the test as well, and get into the markets and ultimately turn a profit. And so, what advice? I know there's people who are tuning into this interview who either are just getting started trading or they're thinking about starting with top tier and getting funded through a prop firm. What advice would you give to new traders who are looking to achieve some similar successes that you've had?
Yeah, the advice that I would give is if you are looking to go with a prop firm, I would definitely advise going with top tier. They have one of the best communities out there. So I would advise going with top tier for sure. As far as having success, I would say you know what you really need to do whenever you're starting something and you really want to succeed in it, whether it be trading, the gym, relationships, work, anything. You know what you really need to do in order to succeed. So you should just do that. So you just need to be very disciplined, and it's hard work. You just have to be very hardworking and pretty much just give it your all. I think in a lot of things that I have done in my life, I never really like gave it 100%. But with trading, I decided and told myself that I will give it my all and just be fully locked in, give it 100% of my effort and attention. And really, trading can change your life for the better. And I think just let trading do that because it is a great tool. It's not just I don't think trading is just a money thing. I think it can change your life in other aspects as well. But in order to succeed, yeah, just learn as much as you can. Always be a student of the game. Never think that you know more than someone. Just always be willing to learn from anybody. And that would be my advice. Just never give up as well. But never give up if you're trading. If you take a big loss, just see that as a win. That
Mhm.
loss is a much bigger win than you think it is. And just to never give up.
And then, Robert, similar question to you, in terms of what advice would you give to new traders who are in a similar position to you, right? Maybe they are looking to pass phase one, looking to pass phase two. Maybe they've gotten to phase two and they failed, or they've gotten fully funded, try to get a payout, and then weren't able to get that payout. What piece of advice would you give to them?
Yeah, I always think of my future self and
Mm,
how I would think if I did give this up. Because we've tried, me and my brother, we've tried endless ways to make income or try to get out of that 9 to 5 rat race style. Um, but I always think of what would I think a year from now if I just quit this? Because this is such a big opportunity and that
mm,
it can truly change your life, but you have to give it your all. And I'm happy, to be honest, I'm happy to fail another 10, 50 accounts if I know that at the end of the day I'm going to be successful. And that's
mm.
really what it takes. Any success story that you hear, it's always because they failed somewhere. You learn more in your failures than your wins. So just never give up. It's cheesy to say, but it really is just that simple. Just never give
Yeah.
up. Always learn and write down everything you do every day. I do journal every day. I try and journal my emotions. I try and journal my strategy, how the day played. There's been so many times where I'll go back a day and look, be like, all right, this happened when it was FOMC day. This is what happened last FOMC. This is how I acted. This is what I did, and just try and better yourself. Try and mock what happened last time. If it was a win, if it was a loss, obviously change it. But
Mm.
as far as passing the challenges, just never ever give up if this is something you truly want to do, and it's that simple.
Yeah, I say the cliches are cliche for a reason,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
Because there's truth behind it.
Absolutely.
Last question for the both of you. I'm very interested to know what are your future aspirations in trading and how do you see your journey evolving with Top Tier Trader?
Yeah, for me, my future aspirations is to obviously continue trading, like Robert said, just to never give up. I would love to do this full time. And yeah, that would be my future aspirations, to do this full time, which I know a lot of people say that everybody wants to do this full time. So as long as I'm doing this and just getting better year over year, I think I would be happy with that, just because I know in the long run that this is something that will make you successful. And it's just really fun. I think a lot of people always talk about in trading, like how stressful it can be and the emotion side of it and all the bad parts of trading. But on the reverse side of it, trading is just fun. Like I just love sitting here looking at the charts and just talking about trading. And it's just one of the most fun things. So just, I guess my future aspirations is just to always be around this business and trading, just because I just love it and it's just so fun to me.
Nice. Robert?
With top tier, I'm definitely looking to have max allocation with top tier. And eventually as well, I've mentioned this to Rudy, and of course, we know Jamal, it would be cool to work with top tier in the future. So that would be one of my future aspirations. And then as far as trading, my whole trading journey, the way I look at it as well is just the lifestyle of a trader is just so fun. You make your money and then you have the freedom. You can do whatever you want. And that to me is so important. I can hang with my family. I can hang with my friends. I can go to the gym, work on my health, work on my mental health, and just the journey and the life of a trader, like I said, is why would you not want to do something like that instead of doing the same thing? Because we've done it. We've done the 9 to 5s, and we actually did more than 9 to 5s. We were doing 9 to 8, 5, 6 days a week in the car business. So we know that lifestyle, and just for me and Rudy, I think it would just be better, of course, for anyone as well, just to try and elevate yourself, of course. So
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you both so much for this conversation. And I'm excited to see your continued success within the top tier community, and I'm excited to stay connected with both of you. Do you mind letting us know where people can find you online? Or do you, in terms of like Instagram, Discord, whatever?
Yeah, you can find me personally online. My Instagram is Rudy Frank with 2 Ks. But me and Robert actually have made content as well. So you can find us literally anywhere at Robert and Rudy, whether it be YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, just Robert and Rudy. And you can find us pretty much anywhere on them.
Perfect. Sounds great. Well, thank you so much again. And thank you, Trader, for tuning in to another top tier interview. Make sure to like this video as well as subscribe to our top tier YouTube channel so you can continue to be notified when a new interview drops on a weekly basis. Again, thank you, Rudy and Robert. And
Yeah, thank you so much.